Hello, friends, and welcome to another Pick a Something reading with me, Intuitive Rene. So, as you might have noticed by the intro, we are doing Miley Cyrus Flowers today. So, I adore this song, as I think everybody does. Doesn't matter how you identify gender wise. I just think the song is just so empowering and it makes us all just feel like we can do anything, that we can take on the world. And I play that song loud and I sing terribly, very loud. And I really just, every time I hear that song, it really just gets my adrenaline pumping, it gets my confidence going, and it just makes me feel fabulous. This morning, while I was getting ready to start my day, I have conversations with Spirit, as always, and I kept hearing Spirit say to me, I can buy myself flowers. I can buy myself flowers. I can buy myself flowers. And I didn't understand the conversation. I didn't understand what I was hearing. So I did what I do and I went quiet and I tuned in and I connected to Spirit and I said, what about this? Okay, like, do I need to go and buy myself flowers? Is that the message? And of course, that's not what it was at all. Spirit was saying to me that I need to use this song as the prompts for our reading today. And I thought, actually, that's pretty fabulous. So what I did is I printed out the chorus, okay? I just showing you a quick little thing. I printed out the chorus, and then I took each of the lines of the chorus, and I changed it into a prompt that we're going to use. So I can buy myself flowers. I can write my name in the sand. I can talk to myself for hours, say things you don't understand. I can take myself dancing. I can hold my own hand. Yeah, I can love me better than you can. So those are the 7 prompts that we're going to be working with today. And I'm quite excited because I think this is going to be, the readings are going to be truly amazing. I did one sample reading on myself just to see how it went, and it was fabulous. Fabulous. I am also choosing today to work with the Meraki Tarot. This is the 2nd edition Meraki Tarot. Oh my gosh. This deck is full of flowers. It's full of gentleness. It's full of love. It's full of understanding. It's full of compassion. It's full of all sorts of gorgeous things. And that's why I've decided it is such a perfect deck to work with our reading today. So I imagine that the readings are going to be longer than usual. So if you haven't already got yourself a cup of something, go and grab a cup of something, possibly even a snack, settle in and get comfy. If this is the first time you're doing a pick a card with me, welcome. Just to explain how it works. We generally within the tarot community, it's referred to as a pick a card, but for me, you're not picking cards. Today, I have got little flowers for you to pick because it's Miley Cyrus flowers. So my first little charm that I have is this little white, red, and yellow, I don't know, flower. My second one for you I have is the little smiley face flower. There we go. Get the camera to focus on it. And then because I needed to include all genders, if I could call it that, I've gone with also just a plain standard leaf as well. For those of you who maybe are not really flower people or maybe don't like flowers 1 and 2, I have given you an option as well. All right. So we are going to work with those 3 flowers. So I am going to record 3 identical readings using the same deck of cards, using the same structure, the same questions, but obviously the reading is going to be completely different. And all you have to do at this stage is ask yourself which of the 3 flowers, whether it be flower number 1, whether it be flower number 2, oopsie, I can't get the smiley face in the right place, or whether it be the leaf. Okay, those are the 3 that you've got to choose from. And then you basically use the timestamps down below here to jump straight to that portion of the video and to get your reading. And I do hope that you've enjoyed this. I do hope that buying yourself flowers is going to bring you a lot of understanding around yourself and where your happiness comes from, and a couple of other things. I'm not going to give all the prompts away at this stage. So friends, I'm going to switch the camera around. I'm going to move, reshuffle things around. I'm going to get started with the first reading. I look forward to seeing you there, and I do hope that you enjoy. Right, so hello and welcome to those of you who chose reading number 1 today as the reading that is just perfect for you. Let's hope that it is. So friends, as you can see on the table in front of me, I do have the Meraki Tarot, and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful deck. So we're doing Miley Cyrus. The song is called Flowers. I've taken the chorus, I've taken the words of the chorus, and I've changed each one of them into a prompt. So we have 7 prompts that we need to work through today. So I did shuffle before I started recording, but you know, I do like to shuffle while I have you on screen with me, just to keep everything looking completely legit, and so that you don't think I'm cheating you in any way. Giving the cards a good shuffle. And as we do, we're asking our guides and angels, our ascended masters, to connect with us today, to help us get the reading that we need to hear, to help us bring out the cards that are relevant and appropriate to the prompts, to help us understand ourselves a little bit better, to help us understand the life that we're living, and just to be overall a better version of ourselves. Right, so the cards are shuffled. I'm going to lay out all 7 cards first, and then I will talk about the prompts and the rest of it. So I know it might look a little bit glary, but once I have all the cards laid, the camera will sort of adjust accordingly. So that's 2 cards, 3 cards down here, 4 cards. I'm not doing them straight. 5 cards, 6 cards, and 7 cards. Right, so you don't know what the prompts are. I do, obviously. And let's just lay them all out. And then what I want to do, excuse me looking around on my screen, but I want to put the lyrics up, and I need to move them around because they don't fit. Sorry, I shouldn't be doing that. I should be moving them. Silly me. So here we have it, friends. Here we have the lyrics. I can buy myself flowers. I can write my name in the sand. I can talk to myself for hours and say things that you don't understand. I can take myself dancing, and I can hold my own hand. Yeah, I can love me better than you can. So today's reading is all going to be about learning how to love yourself better, learning how all of this plays out in your life. And as I said, I have taken each one of these lines and created a prompt. So the first prompt, the first one that we're looking at, I can buy myself flowers. When we buy ourselves flowers, it is in appreciation, in gratitude, as a gift for emotions, for feelings. So the question we're asking here, and here we have the 7 of Pentacles for you. The question we're asking here is, what do you need to acknowledge for yourself? All right. What is something positive that you need to acknowledge for yourself? And the 7 of Pentacles, I mean, here we have a bird. Here are the bird's nests. We have all these other birds flying around. And in the nest, we have all these gorgeous crystals, okay, that are lying there. 7 of Pentacles is the card of the determination and the perseverance and the hard work that you put into everything. 7 of Pentacles is the card that says to you, we see you. We see how much work you do. We see the effort that you've put in, that you arrive every day. You try hard every day. You do everything to the best of your ability every single day. And this is something that you need to acknowledge for yourself. So you can buy yourself flowers by recognizing and appreciating how hard you work every single day, not only for yourself, but for everybody around you. You are always thinking about the bigger picture, thinking about tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. You are somebody who looks at the big picture and understands the work that needs to go into that. But you're also the person who's prepared to put the effort in, who's prepared to do whatever it takes to achieve whatever needs to be achieved. Our second card that we have, and this is a major arcana card for you, and it is the universe. So our second sentence that we have, our second sentence in the chorus is, I can write my name in the sand. So why do us human beings, when we go to the beach or when we have any space of sand in front of us, we have this urge to use a stick, to use our fingers, to use something, and to write our name in the sand? And I had to go and research that a little bit. I had to do a little bit of Googling because I wasn't sure. I've done it myself. Of course we have. We love writing pictures in the sand and writing our names in the sand, especially if you're in a relationship. There's nothing nicer than putting your initial, their initial, and a nice big heart around it in the sand. And according to my Googling, according to Google, it's because we We want to leave our mark on the world. We want to put a sign that everybody can see, something that is really just leaving our mark on letting people know what the emotion is that we're feeling at the time. So we have the universe that's come through for you. The universe is the final card, the last card in the major arcana, and it talks about completion, attainment. It talks about having everything your heart desires. It talks about coming full circle. And then it also says to you, right, so just because you've achieved everything, it doesn't mean everything's over or complete. It means that we start all over again, and we go through the next cycle, the next phase, the next experience of life. So the prompt that I have here for write my name in the sand is, what mark are you currently trying to leave in the world? And it's about being your mark that you're trying to leave at the moment is the mark of completion, the mark of attainment. You want people to see the hard work that you've put into everything. You want people to see who you truly are and the effort and the dedication, etc., that you've put into everything. But you also want them to recognize that you achieved it, that whatever you set out for yourself, you achieved it. So the mark that you're trying to leave, or that you're wanting to leave on this world, is the mark of completion, the mark of attainment, the mark of following through and seeing things through to the end. You don't ever want to be seen as somebody who gave up halfway. You don't ever want to be seen as somebody who didn't fulfill his or her purpose or ideal. You want to be seen as the person who completed everything that you started, and that is, to me, that is quite honorable. It's something that's quite important as well. There are a lot of people, I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody, but there are a lot of people who are really good at starting projects, but not really good at finishing them. You are not such a person. You are somebody who wants to see the stuff through to the end. If you do give in halfway, or if you do stop before reaching the end, it's because you realized it was a useless exercise and that it wasn't going to achieve the miracles or the expectations that you needed. So the mark that you're leaving on this world is the mark of completion, of attainment, and of finishing everything that you start. Love that. So our third prompt is talk to myself for hours. And for talking to yourself for hours, we have got a High Priestess. High Priestess is another of the major arcana cards, and this is the card of finding, understanding and truth deep within your soul, deep within yourself, not relying on external people, not looking outside of yourself, but by finding, trusting, and believing that you have the answers that you're seeking. And the prompt that I have here for this particular one, so talk to myself for hours, I interpreted that into being, what deep conversations do you need to have with yourself? Because it's like you need to have a long, hard conversation with yourself, a deep conversation with yourself around something. And it's around your understandings of truth. So you are a hard worker. You are somebody who sees things through to the end. But a conversation that you need to have with yourself, a heavy, deep, important conversation that you need to have with yourself, is about how much you truly know and what you know to be true and what you know to be false. Because again, I can see with these two cards, they're not even looking at the others that we have, that you are somebody who believes in others. And if somebody tells you that they're going to do a thing, you believe that they're going to follow through with that. And maybe this is where you're getting caught up. Maybe this is where you're falling short, because people are letting you down. People are not sticking to their commitments. People are not sticking to their strategy, to their rules, to what it is that they say they're going to do. And maybe with the High Priestess here as a deep conversation that you need to have with yourself for hours on end, it is about looking within yourself, asking the tough questions, and realizing that you do have truth, integrity, honesty, and the answers deep within your soul. But it's a case of starting to trust that, believe that, recognize it, and allow it to manifest for yourself. All right, that's quite an interesting one. Our next prompt that we have says, say things that you don't understand. All right. So we talk to ourselves for hours. And when it comes to talking to other people, we often say things for hours on end that they don't understand. And the card that we have here for you is the gorgeous Knight of Pentacles. So here we have this horse. He is not in motion at the moment. Okay. He is standing still. He is having a snack. He's eating a little bit of grass, but he's almost recouping energy. Okay. He's ready to go. You can see that, he's got everything loaded. He's ready to go if he needs to. But at this stage, he wants to just be calm. He wants to just be quiet. He's taking a minute to just catch up with his energy, to rebalance himself before he goes on the next leg of his journey. And the question that I've had here, that I asked here, say things that, sorry, I'm reading my prompts, to say things that you don't understand. Where do you hold judgment for yourself? Okay, so why is it that you need to have this conversation with yourself? Why is it that you need to acknowledge and admit to yourself about the truth that you have, about the truth that you are carrying around with yourself? Why is it that you have to have that conversation with yourself? Why is it, where are you holding judgment for yourself? And it's about when you are not so busy. You see, this is how it all falls together. Here we were saying to you, you can buy yourself flowers. Where do you need to acknowledge yourself? And we were saying about how busy you are and how you're always thinking about tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, the big picture kind of stuff. But this is where you're so hard on yourself, when you have to slow down and stop. When you have to suddenly find a minute to recharge your own batteries, or to eat something, or to sleep, or to rest, take a day's leave, take a holiday, go on a holiday, you're suddenly going, no, can't be doing that, because if I'm taking a break, who's doing my work? If I'm not doing that, who's going to do it? And I can't trust anybody, because everybody lets me down all the time. There's that conversation about truth again. But reality is that you are far too hard on yourself, okay? And you've got to give yourself permission to slow down. You don't have to stop entirely, but it is important to slow down and to recharge your energies, to recharge your batteries, and to just replenish your soul, okay? Because you don't give yourself permission to do that, and it's important that you do. It really is important that you do. All right, next we have is I can take myself dancing. To me, I'm not a very good dancer, but I love dancing. I'm not a very good singer. I love singing. But dancing is something that we do that just makes us feel good, just loosens up the body. Movement loosens up the body. And if we don't do that, if we don't just sort of, just release the knots and just wiggle and move around a little bit, we can get quite tight. And we will eventually seize, okay? The card that we have for you can take yourself dancing, we have got is the moon. So here we have a very interesting moon card. It is showing us all the different phases of the moon. We have also got two little fish here. We've got a little blue one, a little gold one. We've got light coming through the center here. And the fishies are looking up at the moon going, oh my gosh, look at that big, beautiful moon. I want to get there. But they don't know how. They don't know what it is that they're capable of doing. The moon is also, remember, the moon is something that is very reflective. When you, especially around water, if you look at the reflection of the moon in the water, it is like mirror. And it makes you feel as if you can reach out and touch it. But the reality is it's far away and you can't. So the moon in tarot is all about facing the darkness, facing your insecurities, your fears, your doubts, facing the things that make you worry, and to find the courage and the confidence to touch the water and to make the moon go. Because again, if you touch your reflection on perfectly still water, as soon as you touch it, it disappears, okay? The image, it shatters, it breaks, it disappears. So take yourself dancing. My prompt that I wrote down for that one is, where and how should you be celebrating life? Because dancing is celebration. It's movement, it's free movement, it's getting all of that kind of stuff. But we typically dance when we are celebrating, when we are happy, when we are being in that moment. And you've got to celebrate the fact that you have overcome obstacles, major obstacles, your deepest, darkest fears. You've found the courage, you have found the confidence, the courage to reach out and to touch that water and to see what lies beneath and to figure it all out for yourself. So this is where you should be dancing, and realizing that the things that used to hold you back the most no longer do, because you have overcome them. You have worked through those insecurities, those anxieties, those fears, those challenges, and you are not restricted or limited by them any longer. I think that is just absolutely amazing. The next prompt, the next sentence in our chorus says, and I can hold my own hand. And here we have the beautiful Six of Cups. I mean, just look at this artwork. Here we have some beautiful lotus flowers. We've got some dolphins. We've got butterflies. There's just such a dreaminess about this card, isn't there? I certainly can get that. And what does it mean when we hold somebody's hand? What does it mean if you go up to somebody and you grab their hand and you hold their hand like that? What does it mean? It means that we want to be together. It means that we support each other. It means that, like, if you grab somebody's hand, you are supporting them. You are keeping them close. You are taking care of them, protecting them, looking after them, but you are supporting them. So the prompt that I came up with here is that for I can hold my own hand, is what support is available to you right now. And the Six of Cups is the card of reminiscing. It's the card of your past coming back into the present moment. The Six of Cups is the card of your past aligning with your present. And sometimes that can be so amazing, because sometimes we are so focused on tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. Sometimes we are so focused on the things that we still need to do that we forget about all the things that we have already done. And this, in answer to the question of what support is available to you right now, this is Spirit saying to you that right now, if you look at what you've accomplished, if you look at what you've achieved, and if you look at who was there with you, if you look at who was holding your hand through your tragedies, through your difficulties, your challenges, through overcoming your own obstacles and fears and anxieties, who was there with you, they are still here for you today. Even though you may have moved on, even though you may feel as if you're completely isolated and completely alone and feel as if nobody's got your back, whoever it was that's been with you all this time, they are still there for you. Even if you haven't spoken to them in 2 years, understand that all you've got to do is go, hi. You just have to open that door, and your past will step into and realign with your present, and that support that you are so desperately looking for will be there for you instantly. Absolutely instantly. Right, and then the final one is, I can love myself better than you can. I love that statement. And you know what? It's something that we need to say with conviction, but without arrogance. So we need to understand that if we don't love ourselves better than anybody else can, we will never know true love. Okay? We will never know true love. So loving yourself, it's not an arrogant thing. It's not an ego thing. It's not I am just so in love with myself that you just could not love me that way. That's not what it is at all. It's like, I believe in myself. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of doing. I know what I'm capable of achieving. And I love myself, because if I can't love myself, I can't love you. I can't love anybody else. And the card that we have, I mean, can you just, I'm bringing it right up because I want the camera to focus on the Lovers. So the Lovers, I can love myself better than you can. The Lovers card is acknowledging partnership. It's acknowledging pairing, the coming together of. It's not taking away from either person, of either party. But the Lovers card is about coming together as opposite equals. Okay? Recognizing that we are two very different beings. Here we have a butterfly and we have a lemon tree. They don't belong together, but they do so well together. The butterfly helps the lemon tree helps the butterfly. It is all about the coming together of opposites, the connecting. And the prompt that I have for I can love me better than you can, my prompt is, what does unconditional love look like for you? Because again, isn't that what we all want in life? Is we all want to be successful. We all want to achieve. We want to be supported. We want to overcome our fears. But we also want unconditional love. And that's what this song Flowers is all about. It's about unconditional love. So the Lovers card here, what does unconditional love look like to you? It looks like nothing that you would expect. It looks completely different from typical, completely different from average, completely different from what everybody else may experience, okay? Unconditional love for you is completely different, like butterflies and lemon trees. But you know what? It still works. It's still a thing. It's still there. I've got a baby lemon tree growing just outside my office door here, and it's in a pot, so it is quite high, but it's a baby tree, and it's got a few little baby lemons on it, and it's always got butterflies around it, always, especially this time of the year. So the Lovers card here for unconditional love for you is understanding and recognizing that unconditional love is going to look different for you and different than anybody else. So don't look at somebody else in your life and say, but look at the relationship that they have. Mine must look like that. No, yours is going to look different to everybody else's around you. So friends, I do hope that you've enjoyed your reading. I do hope that this reading has just helped you to love yourself a little bit better, to see yourself as a better version of yourself, and to realize that you're actually pretty fabulous, just as you are. But remember, the conversation that you need to have with yourself is about understanding what is truth to you. allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to take a minute, okay? Allow yourself to take a minute to acknowledge all the things that you have already accomplished, and to just realize that the support is there and unconditional love is always right there with you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for your love and support. I do hope that you've enjoyed your reading. And until we connect again, take care. Hello and welcome to those of you who chose the smiley face flower. It's like a bit of a tongue twister. Smiley face flower. Reading number 2 as the reading for you today. Welcome. I do hope that you are well. I have the Meraki Tarot on the table here in front of me. I'm going to give it a shuffle, and as I'm doing the shuffle, I'm asking our spirit guides and our angels and our ascended masters and all the powers that be, all of those that work in the love and the light, to connect with us today and to assist us in drawing cards that are relevant and appropriate to the message that you need to hear today. We are doing Miley Cyrus Flowers. We are taking the lyrics of the song, creating some beautiful prompts from it, and helping us to understand ourselves a little bit better, helping us to see aspects of ourselves, aspects of our soul, aspects of our heart and soul in a better, stronger, happier, healthier way. Right, actually, I think I'm happy with the shuffle. Let's cut the deck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out 7 cards first. And once we've got the 7 cards laid out, I will explain all the prompts that we are going to go through. But I thought, let's get the shuffling out of the way. So those are 2 amazing cards, just FYI. Right, so that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, that's 6, and our final card is 7. Right, now I can make them pretty because I'm terrible at lining up cards. And one more thing I need to do before we carry on is to put the lyrics up. So friends, I can buy myself flowers, write my name in the sand, talk to myself for hours and say things I don't understand. You don't understand. I can take myself dancing and I can hold my own hand. Yeah, I can love me better than you can. So we have 7 statements and we have 7 cards. I have taken these and I have created prompts from them. So let's start off with the first one. I can buy myself flowers. Now let's open that up and analyze that a little bit. What does it mean if you buy yourself flowers? Well, it means that when you give somebody flowers, when you buy somebody flowers, it's because you are grateful for them. You are showing gratitude. You are showing appreciation for who they are, for what they're going through, for the love that you have between them. You know, sometimes we buy flowers in sympathy. Sometimes we buy flowers in celebration. But it's an acknowledgement of an individual and whatever it is that they're going through at that time. So the card that you've got here is the beautiful Hierophant. Okay, I'm all about my owls. Love, love, love my owls. Even got my owl ring on today. Love my owls. So, and owls are about wisdom. They're about just having that basic understanding, that deep actual understanding. But the Hierophant is about simplicity. It's that knowledge, that understanding without the arrogance. It's that simple, simple, simple understanding. So the Hierophant's message is often about learning the things that we need to learn, understanding the things we need to understand, but also a reminder to keep everything simple, to not overcomplicate it. The prompt that I have for us here on I Can Buy Myself Flowers, the prompt is, what do you need to acknowledge for yourself? So what aspect of yourself do you need to acknowledge today? What aspect of yourself do you need to pay a little bit of attention to? And the Hierophant is basically talking about your wisdom, your understanding, your knowledge, the way that you view the world, the way that you perceive situations and circumstances. So it is about that innate wisdom and understanding that you possess. So you may find that you're the kind of person where a lot of people go to you for advice and guidance. When people are struggling with something in their lives, you tend to be the person that they turn to, and you don't give yourself enough credit. So the Hierophant is the card of understanding. It's the card of lessons. It's the card of learning. And Spirit is saying that this is something you need to acknowledge with yourself, because you do. You tend to learn lessons very quickly in life. You tend to gain understanding very quickly. And you also seem to see through to the truth really, really quickly as well, which I think is amazing qualities to have. But you don't acknowledge it for yourself. So be kind to yourself, recognize it, and actually maybe take a minute here and actually say, is that really who I am? Because I'm sure you're going, nope, that's not me, that's not me. But when you think about it, when you give it a bit of time, you're going to realize that it is actually who you are. All right. Second prompt that we have, second sentence or chorus, sentence in the chorus is, write my name in the sand. I had to Google this. I have to be completely honest with you, because I've done it myself, been at the beach or been where there's a little bit of sand, and there's this urge that we all have to either draw a picture or to write our name in the sand. And if you're in a relationship, there is nothing nicer than putting your initials, their initials, or full names in a heart in the sand. So I didn't understand the psychology behind it, if I can put it that way. So I had to do a little bit of Googling. And it turns out that as human beings, when we write something in the sand, it's almost like we're making our mark on the earth. That's why we like to carve into trees as well. It's the same thing. We want to make a mark on the earth. We want to be seen. We want our existence to be noted, okay? And the card that you have here for writing your name in the sand is the sun. So here we have this beautiful sun. We've got a dandelion. When do we blow dandelions? When we want to make a wish. The sun is about your wishes coming true. The sun is about happiness, joy, abundance. It's about, just all of those kind of good, positive things. Now, the prompt that I have here for the sun, for write your name in the sand, is what mark are you currently leaving on this earth? And it is the mark of happiness. It is the mark of success. It is the mark of abundance. So again, you don't recognize that. Let's go back to buy yourself flowers. What you need to acknowledge within yourself. You need to acknowledge how wonderful you are. You need to acknowledge how wise you are, how special you are, how fabulous you are, and understand that the mark that you're leaving on this earth is the mark of happiness, the mark of joy, the mark of success, and the mark of abundance. And I think that's just amazing. Amazing. Let's go to number 3. Talk to myself for hours. So again, let's unpack that. We all have conversations with ourselves, don't we? Some of them are good conversations and some of them are bad conversations. Sometimes it's all around the tears and shedding unhappiness and, crying and expressing emotions. Sometimes we talk to ourselves about other people, and sometimes we talk to ourselves about ourselves. So the card that we've got over here is the Two of Swords. Now, I love this particular depiction of the Two of Swords, because we've got water. So we've got above water, we've got below water. We have a little bit of an iceberg. And I know icebergs are not green. We're pretending it's a crystal, right? Malachite. And if you know anything about icebergs, they always say to you that what you see above the surface is often much smaller than what hides beneath the surface. And that's exactly the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords is the card that says to you, we don't always see the truth. We don't always see everything that's going on. We are very limited and restricted in our view and what we can see and what's going on around us. So the prompt that we have here is talk to yourself for hours. What I've asked, or the way that I've changed the sentence is, what deep conversation do you need to have with yourself? Now, these two, I am going to say, the Hierophant here, which is about wisdom and understanding and knowledge in a simple manner, almost contradicts with our Two of Swords, because here we're saying what conversation, or deep conversation, I have to put that word in. What deep conversation do you need to have with yourself right now? And the Two of Swords is saying, well, actually, you're not even aware. All right, there is something that's going on. There is something that you're struggling with. There is something that you're battling to comprehend, but you've got yourself so blinkered that you can't actually see it. It's almost like you've completely shut off from that. Okay, so you are going to have to do some uncovering. You are going to have to dig beneath the surface. You are going to have to start scratching underneath there to find out all. Don't get too complacent and thinking, well, you know what, I do have this ability to understand and comprehend. I do have this ability to see truth quite quickly and quite easily, so therefore I'm actually fine. No, there is a conversation, and I am going to tell you it's about something emotional, because this particular card is depicted in water, iceberg. So there is a blockage. There is a something around a personal relationship for you right now that you need to have a long, hard, deep conversation with yourself, 4 hours, to get to the truth so that you can actually be happy. Because this particular situation, on the surface, we're pretending that everything is fabulous, we're having a party, everything is great, but it's deep down in the soul, it's deep down here that we are struggling. And Spirit are wanting you to have that conversation. Nobody else is going to do it for you. All right, this is something that you need to do for you. This is a conversation that you need to have with yourself. So what deep conversation do you need to have with yourself? It's about this blockage that you have around emotions. Okay. Next card we have. Let's go. So talk to yourself for hours is that deep conversation about a blockage around emotions, and say things you don't understand. So isn't that what life is? We often have people saying things to us that we think like, wow, where did that come from? Or what do they mean by that? There is always this misunderstanding that seems to take place in life within ourselves and externally in our relationship with others. So there is always this miscommunication, things that we don't necessarily understand. So the card that you've drawn, or that I've drawn for you here, is the Five of Swords. Sorry, I can't read. Five of Wands. I'm looking at that going, that's not swords. Five of Wands. Now, if we have a look at the Five of Wands, here we have this bird standing on one leg, standing on a crystal, and on stones that are balancing. So, you know, a little bit of wind and he's going to fall. Everybody else is flying away. We can see that there is a little bit of wind coming. We can see that there is a little bit of danger coming, okay? Obviously, he's a bird. He's going to fly. He's not actually going to hurt himself. But sometimes this is us. Sometimes we find ourselves standing precariously on an unbalanced surface, and all it takes is one little hair, and suddenly our balance is out, and suddenly we have chaos. So saying things that you don't understand, the prompt that I have for this one is, where do you hold judgment for yourself? Because this is about not understanding yourself. So where in your own body, where in your own life, where in your own self do you hold judgment about yourself? So let's go back to this conversation, all right? So talk to yourself for hours, saying things that you don't understand. So I wouldn't be surprised is when I said to you that this conversation, deep conversation that you need to have with yourself, is one around your emotions. I wouldn't be surprised if you are at this point in your life going, nope, I'm fine. I got no issues. I'm fine. Because you are carrying that judgment, all right? And you don't want to deal with it. And I get that. Because sometimes looking at our shadows, looking at the parts of ourselves that need a bit of work, it's not easy. It's not fun. Nobody wants to do that. But the question that we're saying here is, where do you hold judgment for yourself? It's about all of you, because there you are perched at the very top of this balancing chaos. And you are perfectly still and you're holding yourself perfectly well. But you know that if that wind blows, you're going to blame yourself. You're going to say, oh, I knew I was going to fail. I knew it was going to happen. I knew. You can be quite hard on yourself. So here, where do you hold judgment for yourself? About everything that you do, everything that you are. And this is why this emotional stuff has been suppressed and packed away. So where do you hold judgment for yourself? You need to be honest with yourself around that. You need to start noticing it as you go forward, and then you need to have the conversation. So I actually want to swap these two around for you, because until you see it for yourself, until you experience it for yourself, how hard you are to yourself, with yourself, until you experience that, you're not really going to be ready to have that conversation that needs to be had. Right. Next line we have, I can take myself dancing. I don't know about you, but I love dancing. I'm terrible at it. I shouldn't do it, but I love dancing. And, you know, when we dancing, what are we doing is we're moving the body. We're moving parts of the body that we normally don't move. You know, we move our hands and our arms, or we move our legs, but how often do we move our torso? How often do we move our shoulders? You know, we don't. And if we do, we're quite rigid and we're quite, you know, tight in our movements. Dancing relaxes us, and it just gets us to release all the muscles and to release all the tension. And generally speaking, we dance at parties, don't we? Where there's celebration, where there is happiness and joy, people you enjoy spending time with. So yes, you can take yourself dancing. And the card that you've got for taking yourself dancing is the Lover's card. The Lover's card. You know what? Dancing is always better when done with somebody else, isn't it? I'm just going to leave it there. Dancing is always better with somebody else, and especially if it's with somebody who you have lots of emotion for, somebody you love so much. You know, when you then spend time, it doesn't matter if we can't dance, if you are just holding somebody that you love and just swaying from side to side, It's perfection. Life can't get any better than that. And for you right now, yes, you can take yourself dancing. My prompt that I have for your lover's card is how and where should you be celebrating life? And it is back at these emotions, back at these relationships. So this is quite interesting how things are unfolding here. Spirit is saying to you that you need to have a deep conversation with yourself around a blockage you have around your emotions. You are being awfully judgmental on yourself around everything, because when you feel like you've got it all together, but as soon as that little gust of wind goes, everything falls apart, everything falls down, and you blame yourself. You're not blaming the wind, you're blaming yourself. And now, where should you be celebrating? Where and how should you be celebrating life? With the people that you have near you, the people that you love, the people who you surround yourself with every day, even if. And I love this lover's card for this exact reason. So here we have a lemon tree. These are our making our mark on the world again. We've got me, heart, you, and we've got the infinity symbol. We have a butterfly that is landing on a lemon. Butterflies and lemons, not really the kind of thing that you expect to go hand in hand. But if you have a lemon tree in your garden, as I do, there's often butterflies. I've noticed my particular lemon tree that I have just outside my office window over here in a pot. It's where a lot of butterflies come to cocoon in my lemon tree. So they don't go together, but they do go together so well. And where should you be celebrating, or where and how should you be celebrating life in your life at the moment, is in those areas where the opposites attract, where two people come together, where two experiences, two people, two situations, two circumstances that under normal circumstances people would say they don't go together. That's where you should be celebrating. That's where you should be taking yourself dancing. But I also believe that we have to uncover this blockage on the emotional side and to stop taking the blame for things that you shouldn't be taking the blame for. And that's when you will see the synergy and the happiness and this dance of life coming together so beautifully. I'm loving this message. All right, next. And I can hold my own hand. So if you've ever held hands with somebody, whether it be a parent, a child, a lover, if you've held hands with somebody that you love, you know that it is just so beautiful. It is just so lovely to hold hands. Whether you hold gently, whether you do pinky and pinky, it doesn't matter how you hold hands, but holding hands with somebody is truly, truly magical. It is a beautiful experience. Why do we hold hands? So I'm thinking as a mother. I'm laughing because my children are big, and if I go and hold their hands now, they go like, what are you doing? When my children were small, we used to, like if we were crossing a street or walking in the shops or doing anything, we used to hold their hands to protect them, to almost keep them close to us so that we could look after them, protect them, and keep them safe. So it was a way of being kind to them. Think now about elderly people, and if you're walking somewhere with an elderly person, we often do grab their hand, grab their arm to offer support, to help them with whatever it is that they're doing at the moment. So when you are with somebody you love, you generally hold hands to offer support, to offer guidance, to keep them close, and to just enjoy being in close proximity with each other. The card that you have for holding your own hand is the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is the card of disappointment. It's the card of when things go wrong and you just feel yucky. Okay. Here we have our little tortoise. He is on a little wood tree stump. He's got 3 cups that have fallen over. They're empty. They've got nothing left to offer him. On the other side of the river, though, are 2 cups that still have something to offer. But he is so down in the dumps. He is feeling so sad. He is feeling so, oh, woe is me, that he hasn't even noticed that there are other cups there. But what he's doing is he's disappointed. He's possibly feeling a bit frustrated. He's possibly feeling a bit angry at himself because he's got nothing left. Now, the song lyric says, I can hold my own hand. The prompt that I've created from that is, what support is available to you right now? And the support of disappointment, is disappointment support? No, it's not. Disappointment is something that comes when things don't go correct. But what's happening here is Spirit is saying to you, the support that's available to you is to always realize that when you feel disappointed, when you feel like things aren't working out, when you feel as if things are going wrong, that's where you've got to look just a little bit further, a little bit outside of your current realm of view. If you look suddenly just a little bit further beyond your current scope, you will see that all is not lost. So it's about not being too blinkered and not being too short-sighted around the opportunities and the situations that are available to you, to give yourself the opportunity to see all that is. Okay, I do want to connect it back here. I seem to be doing that to all the cards. I want to connect it back here. So talk to yourself for hours, this deep conversation that you need to be having with yourself, this blockage, this emotional something. You are getting too caught up in the little things that go wrong. And then you're just throwing in the towel and you're just giving up and saying, oh, well, that's it. You know, I knew it was going to go wrong. I knew it was going to happen. I knew that wind was going to come, and I knew that wind was going to shake me to my core. So therefore, when one thing goes wrong, you're just giving up instead of looking, extending your view, looking a little bit further and seeing that, hold a second, it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all over. There are still opportunities, and therefore moving towards them. Going back to that one. All right. And our final lyric says, yeah, I can love myself better than you can. You know, if you say that to yourself, it goes one of two ways. If you say that, I can love myself better than you can, there's like, I can love myself better than you can. There's that arrogant way of saying it. And then there's that, I can love myself better than you can. Because if you love yourself in the way that you should, without the conceitedness, without the attitude, it means that you are completely open and transparent to love. It means that you are ready for love, ready for connections and experiences with other people. And I firmly believe that you can't love other people completely and utterly unconditionally if you don't love and accept yourself in exactly the same way. And that's exactly what we've got here. So I can love myself better than you can. And your card is the 9 of Cups. Look at all our fishies. Gorgeous, gorgeous fishies. They're all under the water. The water is sparkling. It is a perfect day. There is so much to be grateful for. There is so much wonderful stuff going on. And the fishies are reveling in that, reveling in the happiness, reveling in the success, reveling in the abundance. And you know what? They are strutting their stuff. They are strutting their stuff. They are, nobody can love me the way that I can love myself. I can love me better than you can, is what they're saying. And each one of them is feeling that. So imagine the amount of love that they're putting into the water, that they're experiencing, feeding off each other. And then they can, if they can appreciate themselves, it's easier to appreciate the people around them, the fishies around them. So the prompt that I have for I can love myself better than you can is, what does unconditional love look like to you? Because this is all about love, self-love. This is all about, you know, even the song. The song is about standing up again after tragedy, picking yourself up, dusting yourself off and saying, you know what, I'm actually amazing. I'm actually fabulous. I am actually super. So in order for you to really go through this experience, what does unconditional love look like to you? Well, it looks like playfulness. It looks like happiness. It looks like playing with your friends, interacting and engaging with like-minded. Because remember what I said, every single one of these fishies is having the same feeling about itself and the same feeling about its friends. There is not a single fishy here that is feeling sad and sorry for itself. Nope, not in this water. So what does unconditional love look like to you? It is surrounding yourself with people, like-minded people, who only focus on the positive and who are not focusing on the negative. So I keep going back there because I can promise you now, friends, that when you have that conversation with yourself, when you uncover the iceberg that is beneath the surface and you work through it and you get rid of it, you are going to be free, happy, successful, wonderful and amazing, and you are going to be able to leave a better mark on this world, a mark of absolute joy, absolute bliss, absolute happiness and success that you are trying so hard to do. But at the moment, you've got all this understanding, you've got all this, you know, celebrating that you know stuff, but because you know stuff, you're not digging deep enough, because we think we've got the understanding here, but we need to get beneath the surface. So friends, I hope you've enjoyed this reading. I hope it's helped you to love yourself a little bit more. I hope it's helped you to love and appreciate who you are and to see and understand where you need to do some work on yourself. Thank you for being with me, as always, with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care. Hello and welcome to those of you who have chosen the leaf as the reading for you today. Welcome. On the table here in front of me, I do have my Meraki Tarot deck, second edition Meraki. Let's give it a shuffle. We are doing Miley Cyrus Flowers as our reading today. I'm so excited. I'm loving this. As I'm going to lay out all the cards first, and once we've got all the cards laid out, then I will take you through the prompts and obviously take you through the reading. So we've got 7 prompts, so we need 7 cards. So as I shuffle the cards now, I'm asking all our guides, our angels, and our ascended masters, and all the beings that come in love and light to connect with us today, to help us choose the cards that are relevant, significant, valid, and appropriate, that give the message and the reading that you need to hear right here and right now. We're asking for some love, or we're asking for just those feel-good feelings to learn how to deal with our emotions and how to love ourselves unconditionally, just as Miley intended. Right, happy with the shuffle, cutting the deck. As I said, I'm going to lay out all the 7 cards, then I can put the deck away, and then we can get straight into the reading. So card number 1, placing over there, loving that. Card number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, let's tidy up a little bit. So as you can see, I've left a bit of a gap there because, oh gosh, I really am not good at these straight lines. Right, there I have the lyrics up on the screen for us to work through. I can buy myself flowers, write my name in the sand, talk to myself for hours, say things that you don't understand. I can take myself dancing, and I can hold my own hand. Yeah, I can love me better than you can. I love those words, so powerful. So we have 7 statements. I have 7 cards. I have 7 prompts. Let's go through them, starting with prompt number 1. I can buy myself flowers. Let's understand that for a minute. What does it mean when you buy yourself flowers, or when you buy anybody flowers for that matter? Let's not think about it as, buying only for you. If you were to buy somebody else flowers, why? We buy flowers to celebrate. We buy flowers to mourn. We buy flowers to give gratitude. We buy flowers to celebrate. I said that already. We buy flowers to acknowledge, okay? So if somebody's going through a thing, whether it be good or bad, flowers is generally something that we give. We buy flowers in recognition, in honor, in acknowledgement of an accomplishment, an achievement, an experience, again, whether it be good or bad. The card that you have here for you can buy yourself flowers is the 2 of Cups. So the 2 of Cups is about partnership. It's about union. It's about 2 people, or in this case, 2 fishies, coming together as one. We have a lotus flower. We have the birds. We have clouds in the sky. We have beautiful, beautiful sunset or sunrise. I never know which one it is. And the 2 of Cups, they are identical. They're exactly the same, but they're completely different. Their colors are different. One might be masculine, one might be feminine. Who knows? But they are coming out of their vessels and are wanting to connect and to partner, come together as a union, as a partnership, as a relationship. So I can buy myself flowers. The question that I've got for our 2 of Cups is, what do you need to acknowledge for yourself in your life right now? So what do you need to acknowledge? And it's the other people in your life. I can buy myself flowers. What do you need to acknowledge in your life? This is Spirit saying to you, for all of you who chose the leaf, for all of you who chose this reading, you need to acknowledge everybody else in your life, the role that they play in your life, what they contribute to your life, and the relationship, the union, the connection that the 2 of you have together. That is something that you need to acknowledge in your life. it might sound a little bit superficial, really, because you know who's in your life and you know how much you love them and you know how important they are to you, blah, blah, blah. But when last have you really looked at the relationships that you have with people? When I talk about relationships, I'm not just talking romantic relationships. I'm talking business relationships, career, the people you work with, the people, we build these relationships with the people at the petrol station where we're going for petrol in our cars. If you go to the same petrol station and you're attended to by the same petrol attendant, you generally build up, familiarity. You build up a relationship, a rapport with each other. And this is Spirit saying to you that you need to acknowledge all of those relationships. You need to acknowledge all the people and what it is that they contribute to your life. It's important, okay? And not just on a superficial surface level, but deep. We need to go deep. Our next sentence, our next lyric we have is write my name in the sand. So I have to be completely honest with you here and say that I had to Google that because I've done it. I've watched everybody around me do it. It's quite a thing that where you have sand in front of you, whether you're at the ocean, whether you're at the beach, or whether you're at any place where there is sand, there is this urge that we all have within us to either use our fingers or to use a stick and to write our name in the sand. Especially if you're in a relationship, there is nothing nicer than seeing your name plus another name in a heart in the sand. It's something that we all do. And I knew that we do it, and I knew that it feels nice and that we like doing it, but I didn't understand the psychology of why we do it. So I went doing a little bit of Googling, and apparently we do it, the psychology behind it, it's the same as whether you're writing your name in the sand or whether you're engraving it into a tree. But it's because as human beings, we want to make our mark on this world. We want to leave a mark. We want to leave a legacy of who we are and what we've achieved and what we've done. So write your name in the sand is about putting your stamp, putting your mark onto the earth and saying you were here and you achieved. Writing your name in the sand, you've got the Justice card. So here we have two people holding pinkies. Hanging from their pinky is the scale. We've got the moon on one side, we've got the sun on that side. Both of these are considered luminaries. They both shed light on our earth. They both shed light on our circumstance. Justice is the card of understanding the difference between right and wrong, understanding the consequences to our actions, the consequences to our behaviors. So writing your name in the sand, making your mark, the prompt that I have for us here is what mark are you currently leaving? And you are leaving the mark of justice, which means that you treat everybody fairly, you treat everybody well, you treat everybody equally, and you don't ever want anybody to say, oh, you know what, that person, they're not very fair. They favor one over another. So you are all about fairness. You are all about justice. You are all about equality and everything working the way that it needs to. That is the mark that you are leaving on this earth right now. That is the legacy of who you are and what it is that you are. When people think about you, all of these people that we were talking about, when they think about you, that's what comes to mind, is how honest, how fair, how upright, how fabulous you truly are. Let's go on to our third line. So the third line is talk to myself for hours. We've all done that. We all done that. We all have these conversations with ourselves all the time. Sometimes it's short, sweet, couple of sentences. Sometimes it can be for hours on end. But what does it mean if you have a conversation with yourself for hours? It means that you are internalizing. It means that you are processing. It means that you are looking at your shadows, looking at parts of yourself to see what you can improve and how you can improve it and what matters. Having that conversation with yourself is about uncovering truth, about having that understanding, but it's also about processing the things that we need to process in life. The card that you have here, and I think this is so appropriate, is the Judgment card. We just had justice, and now we've got judgment. They're following in a similar vein. Look at all these eyes that we have, and they're looking all over the place, okay? So we have this huge, big, all-seeing eye that is looking at us. We're putting our hands up. We're not hiding. We're saying, I'm here. See me for who I am. See me, judge me, look at, highlight my bad points, highlight my negatives, highlight my positives. See me for who I am. I'm not hiding. The song lyric is talk to myself for hours. The prompt that I got from that is, what deep conversations do you need to have with yourself? What deep conversations do you need to have with yourself? And I'm telling you now, the fact that we've got justice, which means, as I was saying, that everybody's going to see you as somebody who is fair, as somebody who gives you everybody an equal chance, equal opportunity, somebody who understands consequences. When it comes to having a deep conversation with yourself, the conversation that you need to have is, you are fair with other people, because it's all about other people. You are kind, caring, considerate, supportive, blah, blah, blah with other people. But when it comes to yourself, that's when the scales are tipped in the wrong direction. So the judgment card is saying that you are quite comfortable with other people judging you. All right, because you know you've done your best. You know that you're always quick to jump and be there for other people. You're always supportive and caring and kind, etc. But when it comes to the self, that's where we fall short. Because when it comes to the self, suddenly we are too tough, too hard, too honest, too consequential. Okay, when you're looking at yourself, you're like, oh no, that needs to be improved, and that needs to be improved, and that's not good enough, and you can be incredibly hard on yourself. So this is spirit saying to you, a deep conversation, talk to yourself for hours. A deep conversation that you need to have with yourself is by letting go of those expectations and those pressures that you're putting on yourself, to be kinder, to be less judgmental, to be softer with who you are, and to realize that the way that you are right now is just perfect, just beautiful, that you don't need to change. Of course, we all need to improve. It's what being on earth is all about. Being human is about growth and evolution and improvement in all that we are and all that we do. But right here and right now, the way that you are, the person that you are, is just perfect. So the deep conversation that you need to have with yourself is on lightening up, lessening up, being kinder, being gentler, being more loving, kinder, and supportive of yourself. That is the conversation that you need to have with yourself. Next sentence, next lyric. Say things you don't understand. We have miscommunication all the time, don't we? With ourselves and with other people. We misjudge, we misunderstand, we miscomprehend situations and circumstances all the time. And the card that you have here around saying things that you don't understand is the Five of Wands. So here we have these foxes. We have the moon. The moon is casting shadows. Everything looks different by the moonlight. And these foxes are jumping around with sticks, and it's like each one's for their own. Everybody is fighting for themselves, and everybody's trying to be dominant, and everybody's trying to be the top dog. Okay, so say things you don't understand. There is a lot that needs to come out, and it's difficult, which is why you're so super critical of yourself. But the prompt that I got was, say things that you don't understand is, where do you hold judgment for yourself? So this goes back to judgment here. Where do you hold judgment for yourself? And I can tell you now, it's on everything. Because here we have all these foxes. Each one is trying to win. Each one is trying to succeed. Each one is trying to be top dog. And this is you, like you're competing against yourself. Okay? So where do you hold judgment for yourself? It's about your success, about how wonderful you are, how amazing you are, how fabulous you are. You are your own worst enemy, and that is coming clear here. And every time you are just being so super critical, so super judgmental, so super anxious, and you don't believe that you are a good person at all. But yet, if I speak to anybody else in your life, if I go to the person who puts petrol in your car, and I said to them, oh, that person who drives that car, what are they like? They're going to say, gosh, what a nice person. Lovely, kind, generous, giving, supportive, blah, blah, blah. Always got a smile on their face, always happy. That's the kind of stuff that I will hear. And if I ask you that same question about yourself, you'll have nothing nice to say about yourself at all. So, very different. These two are all about how wonderful the people are, acknowledging the people in your life, acknowledging how supportive you are, the mark that you're leaving, and everybody thinks you're wonderful, but you don't. And that's not right. That's really not right. So we need to balance those scales and you need to stop being so hard on yourself all the time. Okay. The next one we have, right, the next sentence and the next lyric we have is, I can take myself dancing. I don't know about you, but I love dancing. I'm not very good at it. Not something I should be doing in public, but I love dancing. When do we dance? We dance when we are with people who mean something to us. We dance when we are celebrating a wedding, a birthday, a party, a gathering, an engagement, any kind of reason or any time where people come together, there is typically dancing. It's when the mood is good, it's when the vibes are good, it's when everybody, and what is dancing? So dancing is moving the body in ways that we don't ordinarily move. It helps us to loosen all the muscles and the knots that we have, but it's where we let our inhibitions go. Okay, and I can see that this is something that you struggle with, letting your inhibitions go. The card that we have, or you can take yourself dancing, is the King of Swords. Trust me, King of Swords don't dance. King of Swords does not dance. He is not shaking his booty. He is not shaking his booty. He is about business. He is focused. He is determined. He doesn't have a sense of humor. Like, don't try and break the ice with him. Give him your facts and walk out the door, okay? He doesn't want to have that kind of conversation. He is intellectual, okay? He's strong, he's powerful, he's capable, he's determined, he's focused, he's all of those things. But dancing is not something that he is. The prompt that I have for I can take myself dancing is, remember I said to you that dancing is something we do when we need to celebrate life. Here you have the King of Swords. My prompt is, where or how should you be celebrating your life right now? And it's about celebrating this how serious you are, celebrating the fact that you take yourself seriously, you take your life seriously, and we can see that over there. Everything that you do has a purpose, has a function, has a time, and has a place. You're not incredibly spontaneous, and that's a good thing at this stage, okay? Because remember, this is where we need to dance. We need to dance and celebrate around the fact that you are so focused, that you are so disciplined, that you take yourself seriously, and that you can have fun. We're not saying that you're a party pooper. You can have fun, but there's a time and a place, okay? That's what this King of Swords is saying to you, and you need to celebrate that. You need to acknowledge it, because you are being too King of Swords on yourself and you're not giving yourself credit. So let's celebrate that, and maybe by celebrating that, we're going to be less judgmental and less hard on ourselves, which means that we can actually loosen up ever so slightly in order to appreciate and enjoy all that we are and all that we are doing. So King of Swords is definitely that energy, that persona, that mindset is definitely something that you need to be embracing and celebrating. So take yourself dancing to celebrate and to acknowledge your leadership, your strength, your stamina, your courage, your tenacity, the way that you intellectualize everything is definitely a positive in your life. Don't be so hard on yourself. Have that conversation where you put these two together, where you sort of compare them to each other and reevaluate, so that you're not fighting against yourself all the time. Next line in our lyric is, and I can hold my own hand. Holding hands is something we've been doing for eons. It's something that us human beings, we crave. We crave human touch. We crave holding hands. I think about myself as a mom, and with my children when they were little. I won't dare do it now. I'll get the hairy eyeball. But when we walk anywhere with our children, we tend to grab their hands, to hold their hands, to keep them safe, to protect them, but also to keep them close to us. When you walk with an older person, an elderly person who is maybe a little bit hunched over, a little bit back, a little bit unsteady on their feet, we hold their hand or we grab their arm to steady them, to help them, to support them on the journey that they're on. We also tend to hold hands with those that we love. So if, your partner, whoever you're in a relationship with, there is nothing nicer than just sitting and holding hands and just having that that connection. You know, it can be quite intimate, it can be quite powerful, it can be quite gentle. You know, whether you're doing the little the pinky things that they're doing over there, but there's just this connection that comes from holding hands. So I can hold my own hand. The card that I've drawn for you there is the Knight of Wands. So here we have a fox who is clearly jumping through the sky. Okay, he is jumping, he is boing, boing, boing. I get that kind of motion. We also have the bluebird of happiness that is joining him there, who is carrying some twigs, and they're moving forward. There is progress that is taking place here. Wands is action, it's doing, it's progress. Okay, and the prompt that I've created from I Can Hold My Own Hand is, what support is available to you in your life right now? Because to me, that's what holding hands is. It's about support. So the support that is available to you right now is the Knight of Wands, which means that if you've got anything that needs to be done, okay, if you've got anything that needs to be done, there will always be somebody around who's going to help you to get going. This is not about having the conversation and coming up with the strategy. This is about, if you need to scrub a wall, you just put out the message and you will have people arriving to help you scrub the wall. You have got people who will be there for you no matter what. And that is the support that's available to you. And I think that is just amazing. Just amazing, the support. So use it. Don't be afraid. Don't be too hard on yourself about allowing somebody to support you, allowing somebody to help you, because you deserve the help just as everybody else does. So give yourself the opportunity to use the support that is available to you. And our final prompt, I can love myself. I can love me better than you can. You can say that in that way, or you can say, I can love me better than you can. All right. We're not doing it in that way. We're not doing it with arrogance. We're doing it with love and affection. We're doing it with truth and integrity. You've all heard the saying that says, if you can't love yourself, you can't love anybody else, that you have to love self first in order to love. And love is all around you. Okay, if I look at these cards, if I look at these prompts, if I look at this whole reading for you, love is all around you. It's just that you're a bit tight in taking it and allowing it for yourself because you don't believe you deserve it. So the card that we've drawn for I can love me better than you can is the Nine of Pentacles. And here we have our fox, who has got the thickest, warmest, most amazing comfort blanket wrapped around him. You can see that there's this kind of like feeling on his face. Life is good. He is enjoying the best of everything. The prompt that I have here for I can love me better than you can, the prompt that I have is, what does unconditional love look like for you? What does unconditional love look like for you? It looks like comfort. It looks like perfection. It looks like just that feeling of a warm blanket on a cold winter's day, when suddenly you've got a hot cup of something, you've got a warm blanket, when life is just perfect in that moment. That is what unconditional love looks like for you. And that's why you're being so hard on yourself, because it's almost like that's too simple. And you've almost got yourself convinced that it's too simple, it's not enough, I need more, I want more, so I'm going to work harder, I'm going to do more, I'm going to, instead of actually just celebrating the people around you, letting them realize that you are leaving such a beautiful mark on this world, a mark of love, of honesty, of integrity, of unconditional, all of that. And unconditional love for you is when you are protected, supported, and loved. And it's available to you. It is out there, but you've got to see it. Acknowledge the people in your life. And if you acknowledge them, they will love you unconditionally. So friends, I hope you enjoyed your reading. I really do think there's some interesting truths in this particular reading for you. And yeah, I hope it leaves you thinking differently about yourself. Thank you for being with me, as always, with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.